Anna in the morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank on WCCS. And it is time for our interview segments brought to you by Marcus & Mack, voted best personal injury law firm in the Best of Indiana County contest. Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. And our interviews are also being posted on Facebook Live. So you will see on screen right now Mason Frumkin of the PA Game Commission. He is a state game warden. And Mason, it's great to have you in studio once again. Glad that you could join us.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
All right. So this is actually getting into a pretty busy season, I would imagine, for game wardens because it's one of the more popular hunting seasons out there.
It certainly is starting to get busy. My call volume has gone up substantially in the last few weeks, for sure.
Wow, definitely. So the first topic that you wanted to talk about, and I think it's pretty important, is it's going to help with that call volume maybe. Applications are being accepted to be a game warden.
Yes, not quite yet. It'll be January of 2024.
Oh, okay.
There's a class currently in Harrisburg now. There will be a following class, and then this application period for the following class after that, it would be the 36th class.
Oh, wow.
Will be open January of 2024.
Okay, so January of 2024. What are some of the qualifications that people would need to be a game warden?
So first off, just some must-haves. You have to have a passion for wildlife, the ability to perform law enforcement duties to protect wildlife, the ability to work independently. We have a lot of flexibility. I would say in most careers you see your boss on a daily basis, where
Yeah.
I might see mine once a month. It's very independent.
So you have to be self-motivated.
Yes.
Okay.
Have to be self-motivated for sure.
All right. And also, from what it sounds like, this is, from your point of view anyway, it sounds like it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. I have the entire northern half of Indiana County.
Wow.
So I have just about 450 square miles all to myself.
Wow. A lot of good-looking area, though. A lot of beautiful area
Gorgeous.
out there. I've traveled through there many a time. But obviously, and you said that people have to do law enforcement activities to protect wildlife. I'm assuming then that people who have law enforcement experience, like a former police officer or a sheriff's deputy or even a constable, would be able to qualify for that.
Certainly. That will be very beneficial, having that experience prior. I studied criminology in college and then was a law enforcement officer for 2 years prior to this. If I could go back, I might change my my degree to like biology or environmental science, because it also would be very beneficial to have that background as well.
Okay, so a little bit of the knowledge of forestry and things like that, and also a little bit of law enforcement knowledge, that could definitely go a long way. Are applications being accepted for this new class now?
Not
yet. This is in January?
This will be January in a few months.
Okay, and where can people, if people are interested, where can they find more information or maybe an application?
Yep. If you go on all of our social media, just Pennsylvania Game Commission. If you go to our website, if you just type in Pennsylvania Game Commission, it'll come up. You'll be able to look at all of the different qualifications. The application process takes almost a full year itself before you even get into the 44-week academy held in Harrisburg. Now, to be a qualified applicant, there are a couple of different avenues you can go, either 60 credits or an associate's degree in any field, 4 years active duty military, or 2 years as a deputy game warden, which is a part-time volunteer position.
Okay, and would applications also be accepted for those deputy positions?
Yes, yep, and that is just throughout the whole year.
Oh, that can be done at any time?
That can be done at any time, yep. Excellent.
All right, thank you. All right, so next up, one of the things that we've been noticing, obviously, and I've been very mindful of this because I live in an area where there are some wooded areas and the deer coming out in the early morning hours when I'm driving in, but not just that, but also all throughout the day now. I think, as my mom would say, I think we're in the rut.
Yes.
For the deer.
Yes, certainly. Pennsylvania led the country this last year in animal collision insurance claims.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Pennsylvania drivers have a 1 in 59 chance annually of hitting a big game animal. Big game animals. There are 4 in Pennsylvania: the wild turkey, the black bear, white-tailed deer, and if you get a little further north, there's some elk in Pennsylvania as well.
Yeah. Okay. What's the best thing that people should do if they see a deer ahead on the roadway? Is it best to stop, or is it best to keep going?
Slow down, beep your horn. You hear the deer in the headlights. If they just see you coming, they'll just stare at you. But if you hit your horn and slow down, they don't like that. They should continue to move along.
One thing I've also seen people do, they flick their lights. They flick between the bright lights and the regular beams. Is that recommended as well?
I don't think it could hurt.
Okay,
I mean,
all right.
I would try everything. You certainly don't want to hit a deer.
No, definitely not. I've gone through that experience.
I have as well. Not a good time.
No, you feel bad for the deer first and foremost,
Yes.
and then you feel bad for the car.
Yes.
And that does amount to a lot. But people with the proper insurance, I think they are able to have all of that covered. But as you said,
Certainly.
Pennsylvania has the highest rate for that. So obviously, this is one time of year that we're seeing a lot of deer on the roadways. Any other times that you can think of right off the top of your head?
There's always a chance of it, like you mentioned on the rut. That's the white-tailed deer breeding season, right? Mm-hmm. So it is anywhere from October, and then the peak will be first week in November, probably.
So we're right near peak season for that.
Right near peak season. Keep in mind, deer will typically travel in groups, but they'll typically be in single file lines. So if you see one cross successfully in front of you, keep in mind, continue to slow down.
You could see a second or a third.
Could see a second or a third.
All right, excellent. Any other and obviously, if you do hit a deer, what should you do?
Keep in mind, you're not required to call the game commission if you hit a deer.
Okay.
However, there are a couple of different things that you can do. If the deer dies and you're a Pennsylvania resident, you can keep that deer for consumption purposes.
Okay.
So that's an option. If you don't, somebody else also can.
Okay.
And they're just required to call us within 24 hours of picking up that deer.
And they'd have to say, I found the deer on such and such a road, and I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to have it butchered and everything else.
Certainly, and we'll give them a permit over the phone.
Okay. All right. Okay. So that's fine then. And that almost acts like a hunting permit in that regard.
Exactly.
Okay, that leads into the next topic that I want to talk about because
Yes.
we are getting close to the start of rifle deer season.
Yes.
Obviously, that's become a tradition for many people on Thanksgiving weekend. I believe rifle deer starts Saturday after Thanksgiving. Is
It does.
That right? Okay,
Yep.
That's been a pretty successful program because I remember back in school, it would not start until the Monday after
Right.
Thanksgiving,
Right.
and it was always Deer Monday. Schools were closed that day because
Yes.
everybody was going to go out hunting,
Yes.
and they all claimed it an educational experience, which it is.
Mm-hmm.
But Saturdays have become immensely popular as well.
Yes. Yep.
Talk about some things that people should keep in mind. Maybe we'll start off with hunters. Obviously, you need to have the proper tags.
Yes, got to have the proper tags. Keep in mind, you can only hold your tags. I'm seeing a lot of hunters going out with their family members or even children holding on to their tags. I know when you harvest a deer, your heart starts to elevate.
Yeah.
And the last thing you want to do is put the wrong tag on your deer.
Yeah, right. So whenever you have to do that, that's see, I'm not a hunter. It's not the holier than thou thing. It's early in the morning,
Exactly.
and I want to stay warm
It's
in
cold.
bed. Yeah,
Yep.
But tagging a deer, obviously, that's tagging in the ear. I would imagine.
Yep, tagging in the ear.
Okay, and you have to give it a specific tag. So I guess one's for buck, one's for does, one's for a certain age group.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Once you fill out all the information, the time, number of points, if it's an antlered deer, left or right, the location, you have to tag it in the ear, and then sometimes hunters forget you also have to report that deer within 10 days after harvesting.
That's right. Yeah, and sometimes in the thrill of
Right.
thrill of the hunt, there
Yes.
you do kind of
Yeah.
forget. So it's good that you have a 10-day period. Indiana County's been pretty good as far as deer harvesting goes.
Very good. Very good. Indiana County, I've checked just a large number of deer already in archery season.
Yeah, that's right.
Going back to tagging, too, another very important part of the tagging process, you have to tag the deer, fill it out properly, and tag it prior to moving it from the location of where it was harvested.
Okay, so you have to do it right there. You cannot put it into the bed of the truck
Exactly.
to do it, and where it might be easier, but it's not right.
Right.
Okay. One other and I know that we're cutting short on rifle deer because there's a lot to talk about there, but we're running out of time. But very quickly, game theft.
Game theft. Yes.
Talk about that.
Yeah, we have a program. It's called Operation Game Thief. The program provides a way for people to efficiently and confidentially report tips about wildlife crimes. That could be anything from somebody shooting deer at night from a vehicle, or shooting too many bucks. So some specific crimes that you can report: illegal shooting or taking of big game or protected or endangered threatened species, or any crime against those species should be reported through the Operation Game Thief.
And how can people do that? Is there a website for that or a phone number?
There is. It's the phone number is 1-88-PGC-8001. So you can call that any time of the day or night, 24/7, 365 days a year.
All right. And again, that number, just so people, in case they missed it with their pencils and paper, go ahead. 1-888?
1-888-PGC-8001.
All right.
Also, the website, pgc.pa.gov.
pgc.pa.gov. We'll try to get that posted on our Facebook feed.
That'd be great.
Attach it with this video. All right. We are just about out of time. We're just about out of time, Mason, but thanks very much. We got to have you back in again at some point.
I would love to do that again.
Before the start of Rifle Deer.
That'd be great.
It's been a pleasure. And thanks for educating this guy who's never been hunting at all in his life.
Hey, you're not alone.
Thanks again. That is Mason Frumkin, a Pennsylvania state game warden, joining us here on Indiana in the Morning. Our interviews presented by Marcus and Mack, voted best personal injury law firm in the Best of Indiana County contest. Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. 9:58, and just to let you know, on tomorrow's show, we've got a full house here. Bob Manzi, Indiana County District Attorney, joining us at 8:10. Lisa Spencer at 8:45 from the Indiana County Department of Human Services. Dr. Carolyn Princes and some other guests joining us from the Indiana County chapter of the NAACP at 9:10 to talk about the NAACP Freedom Fund Banquet. And Norb Rako, a big fundraiser for the Knights of Columbus coming up. He will be there to talk about. He will be here tomorrow morning at 9:45 to talk about it. Any changes to the schedule, we'll make them and we'll post them on our website at wccsradio.com. Much like any of those sporting events, the card sometimes is subject to change without notice. So we're glad that you could join us. We'll have a check of news headlines coming up in just a few minutes. Run until tomorrow morning. Josh Whittison, thanks for listening.
One of the most serious complications for people with diabetes is diabetic peripheral neuropathy.